Ascension update. The great quantum shift has reached the physical plane. A message of hope from the Intergalactic Alliance of Light Beings with Canadian psychic medium Tracey Milne. Source does not play favorites. Linda Good McGillis. Greetings, friends. Here is some new information about the great quantum shift we are currently all working through that is affecting our ascension very, very rapidly right now. With the lifting of the Warden program we mentioned in our last special Ascension update, this quantum shift already underway has reached a stage where, universe-wide, a reweaving of the fabric of reality has begun, one that means that duality energy is no longer needed for the creation of anything existing in the old matrix system. To understand the magnitude of these changes, it is good to review how things have run for billions of years until now. In the past, during the cycle of ages, several old covenants and agreements, now voided, ensured that a certain amount of darkness would exist within the fabric of the multiverse, even during an age of light. With the beginning of the new age of light and the nullification of these ancient agreements, the dark essence, dark consciousness, and dark energy programs, bindings, and loopholes that have been present for billions of years have begun losing their power and influence on all planes of existence. In an effort to prevent the darkness from dissipating completely, the Dark Fleet installed several inorganic mechanisms at 4 main threshold points, with each one set to trigger a dead man's switch to bring in more dark essence. This was set into place billions of years ago in the off chance that the Earth ever got to the point where we were able to host more light than darkness, a point we have now reached. The after effects of these switches being flipped before being shut down and dissipated quickly by the Guardian for the Assets of Earth and her team have created a multitude of unpleasant symptoms and experiences for those living in the physical plane that could not be avoided. As many of you already know, the entire multiverse is now aligned for creation to happen between Source Light and Source Light, or Alpha System and Alpha System. The Omega system is gone from existence. It has been decommissioned and reabsorbed by Source themselves. But the Dark Fleet humans left on Earth refuse to acknowledge this truth. As a result of their pure disbelief, this week, the Dark Fleet humans attempted to harness the energy spews from these switches being tripped to try and flood the planet with enough dark energy to ensure the dark could continue to exist on planet Earth. The Dark Fleet believed that this was their opportunity for the Dark Omega program to recreate itself before overshadowing the Alpha, which was only possible under the Source-Anti-Source agreement under the Cycle of Ages covenant, now expired. To be clear, the Omega system was never a creating system. It was a copying system. It was never able to manufacture anything organic, merely an overlaid copy, as the Omega-verse had limited its own ability to create through total ethereal amnesia, including all connected to its copied light system. What they were expecting was akin to asking a photocopier to produce an original Monet, something simply not even remotely within its operational possibility, which made the entire mission pointless, as the switches were not designed to recreate anything. They were more like a garden hose, needing the residual water to be released before being folded up and put away. In order to prevent the dark from being recreated here on Earth and throughout the universe, Source has initiated the process of reworking and reweaving the very fabric of reality as we know it in response. Now, in a Source Light to Source Light multiverse, we will no longer be utilizing any portion of darkness, including dark consciousness, dark energy, dark matter, or dark essence, in order to weave the fabric of our reality. This is happening on every single plane of existence and in every density. of existence. These changes will start at your soul plane, where it all began, with clearing of your essence, and work their way through your other planes of existence, including your mental, etheric, emotional, causal, astral, physical, optimal, and supernal planes. A reweaving has begun that will ring through these levels of your experience, transforming you on all levels, many of which you cannot see but can deeply feel or experience, coursing through the blood of your human vessel and reweaving the essence of the entirety of you as you are bathed in source light to source light connections. These changes are not just happening for the people of Earth, but for all across the universe and multiverse. Between February 16th and 19th, this new source-to-source light energy field started to really hit the third density and your physical experience. This quantum shift has already happened throughout the higher densities, and it has reached your density, which includes densities 1 and 2. This includes DNA upgrades that will be experienced at a physical and metaphysical level. These changes in the quantum field of creation allows for creation without degradation, or creation of matter without antimatter. Under the old source and anti-source co-creation agreement, every cell of your being would be derived of 50% dark energy and 50% light. It was implanted at the cellular division level of your experience, and until now has existed in everything that has made up Earth's physical experience. Now, your entire DNA sequencing is changing so that it no longer reflects a source and anti-source expression within your physical being. What once looked like a yin-yang marker in every cell in your body has now begun to reflect pure light essence, light energy, and light consciousness mix. Now, without antimatter, your physical vessel will be able to constantly recreate itself and have cellular regeneration. We no longer require the degradation effects of antimatter, which helped us all become more dense for the 3D experiment. According to the galactic historian Andrew Bartzitz, our DNA is predominantly memory. He describes DNA as the encoding and our light body as the cipher that codes our experience. Our stored DNA carries the memory of our previous experiences in different lifetimes, so these changes will help us to remember and understand all we have been before now with less concentration and effort. Whatever memories you hold within that hold similar source-based energy will now come online or to the surface of your reality experience. This is part of your restoration, and the remembrance of who you really are helps break the false matrix hold on you on multiple levels. These changes in the fabric of reality are going quantum field by quantum field throughout each person. This could leave you feeling really woozy, lightheaded, a little off, energy drain, joint pains, spontaneous infections, or other odd ailments that seem to appear suddenly and disappear just as fast. All physical symptoms of the quantum field changes that are taking place right now. These changes are happening throughout the multiverse, so the other planets are going through this as well, especially other planets in a similar situation as Earth. You will begin to see positive changes in the environment around you, including the people you deal with daily. You're going to see a really massive and sometimes difficult change, both mentally and emotionally, in those people who have been actively hosting negativity. You will also see manifestation come more easily when you include source and source solutions into your equations and outcomes. All old patterns that host a level of destruction at their core will also be affected. This includes self-destructive patterns, thought processes, emotional responses, including self-condemnation and self-imposed restrictions. Many people are experiencing what can only be described as strange physical ailments that are a result of these changes. Many feel like they have a cold, flu, or brain drain. While what is happening is a positive process in the long run, it can feel a little uncomfortable in the short run. You will continue to see a lot of people losing their cool as the dark remnants get wiggled loose and come up to the surface for clearing. That includes you listening. It's worth remembering that almost everyone has gotten really good at biting their tongue. And right now, that ability will be tested as speaking truth will become a requirement for interacting with others. Many romances, long-term friendships, and long-term arrangements are going through a rough patch or a testing time, with some breaking down as a result. Anything built on untruth, assumption, power struggle, power plays, ego traps, guilt trips, undermining, misdirection, and mistrust will have a very hard time existing under these quantum changes now commencing. As a result, a lot of separations are taking place worldwide. This can also be work-related, home-related, or anything to do with the practical side of life. People are starting to see themselves differently, and not in a bad way. And things you were once able to tolerate are becoming less and less tolerable as we move through this process. This can include the kind of food you can eat, or other goodies you can imbibe, as your sensitivity to chemicals used will become heightened during this time. Continue setting a good example on how to use your trust and discernment when trying to help awaken those still appearing to be in slumber. Patience with self and others, especially in response to these dysfunctional patterns trying to reestablish themselves, will benefit all involved without sacrificing the truth that a change in approach is needed. Until now, your Earth experience has not been an easy one, placed in the third density, so far away from Source and so close to the Omegaverse and anti-Source influences. For a long time it has been rough, which has helped humans become little scrappers and firecrackers. We are naturally born rebels, so recognize that it might take a while for us to lose the knee-jerk reaction to want to fight each other over ideas. Those drawn to and watching this message already know you're here to help humanity evolve. Continue to be kind to each other and let go of the dark as you find it. That is all you're required to do right now. Cut yourself some slack during your human moments, remembering that there's a lot of programming still to be decommissioned, so stay out of self-judgment. Just know it's going to be okay. Brighter days are on the horizon, and the quantum shift has reached the third density and the physical plane. Things will continue to happen quickly now as your ascension accelerates towards a marvelous crescendo, the likes of which defy description. You're closer now than ever before. Keep up the excellent work. You'll be glad you did. Until next time, in the highest light of love and truth, we are the Intergalactic Alliance of Light Beings. Namaste. Presented by WhatComesNextForYou.com, psychic readings, ascension activations, and so much more. Private consultation available upon request. WhatComesNextForYou.com. What's in your future?